Well, hello to all of you string picking guys and gals out there. Welcome back to Obscene Studios, the place where if we get many more of these, I'm just going to start my own guitar store. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, as you see, we've got my old buddy Ritchie up here on the bench. Ritchie is my LTD EC-256 Eclipse series. Ritchie is my go-to for standard tuning. Ritchie is a 22 fret Les Paul style configuration guitar. I've not really done any changes to this other than I replaced the volume knobs with the spent shell casings. And that is pretty much all that I've done to this guitar. I had a bit of a problem with the toggle switch when I got it. In the bridge position, you could barely touch it and it would pop back up into the center position. So what I did is I got that out, found the problem, just a little bit of wear and tear. So I fixed it and put the same switch back in there. It works just fine now. This guitar is definitely one of my faves. I never once before in my life have I ever been much of a Les Paul guy until I got my EC-50. The EC-50 is basically the lower end of Les Paul, I guess, a Les Paul style guitar. However, LTD saw fit to put ESPs for pickups in that, and it sounds amazing. What else can I say? It just sounds great. It's my drop C guitar. Anytime I play anything drop C, that's my go-to. Now, I do have another guitar. It's in C sharp. And, you know, just different tunings for the different instruments that I have. However, this one, I've done a lot to my other guitars. Some of them I have, some of them I haven't. This one I've done very, very little to. And today, we are going to put some Eddaray machine heads on it. This showed up from Amazon today. And this is very well packaged. I took it out of the bag that it comes in, but it's opening the box. I love the foam. I don't know, I guess to keep them from getting scratched up in a little bag. That's pretty nice. That is okay. Let's see. Let's get into this. Lately, I have decided to start doing some repairs and setups and things like that for people in my community, because you have to drive almost 30 miles to get anything like that done around here. And for the people in my town, there's not any place that I know of that has here in my town that has, because there's no music shops here. We have a pawn shop that sells music equipment, but we don't have any techs or anything. Man, that's smooth. So I guess this is kind of a review of these. That's on the back. But we're going to put these in Ritchie today and make Ritchie a little bit easier to string up, so we don't have to deal with the old wraparound, them old tuning pegs. We are keeping the old tuning pegs. They are ESP branded. And ladies and gents, I do not have a problem with old branded tuners, any kind of tuners, until it gives me a problem. Usually when I change them out, it's because there's a problem or I'm just simply doing an upgrade. This is going to be an upgrade to this guitar. I think it will make it quicker and easier to string it up, and it will and those do not, I don't lose tuning on those whatsoever. Those are great tuners. It's just that I have had sort of a love for locking tuners for a while now. I'm especially fond of Geiger locking tuners. They are awesome. Geiger brand is just awesome. But instead of going with Geiger, I wanted to do something new that I have not reviewed before. And that's what these channels are about. These are to help you decide on what product you want, what brand you want, to get back and forward through that process. Now, I put locking tuners, the Safu locking tuners, on treble. Treble is my Taxon build that I got, my kit that I got. And the Safu tuners had plastic on the back, the knob that locks. I wasn't particularly fond of that, but for the price, meh, you know. These, I'm not sure. I think I would have rather went with these because these have a metal on the back rather than a plastic. I just see in the future that might cause problems. So let me get you guys turned around here, and we're going to start a little bit of a spa day and tuner replacement on my old buddy Ritchie here. By the way, if you like what you see here and you're enjoying the content and you're not being held captive and this is being used against you as a torture device, then hit the like button. Maybe subscribe. You know, what could it hurt? Okay, I'm going to keep this bag. I'm going to put these old tuners back in it just in case I find something else, or if somebody, you know, or if one of these others fail. I'm just going to go ahead and put them back in there, and that way always have backups. Lately, I don't know why, but I have bought tuners of every color. I've got black, I've got gold, I've got chrome. I'm just buying tuners left and right, inline tuners, 3x3 tuners. Even had a set of bass tuners come in, and I thought about, those were one of the free gifts from Temu that I'd brought up in a prior episode of String Pickers, and I just didn't use them because really the Ibanez bass that I wanted to put them on, it does so well, staying in tune, and I have had it tuned to everything. I've had it all the way down to C and up to E, and I've tuned that to everything. It never loses tuning. They're extraordinary. The only reason why I even considered it was because it's got them big old tuners up here. That's the only reason why I considered it. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to change those out. And once I got them in, I got to looking at them, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to have to drill new holes for the screws. I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to do that. I'm not even going to mess with it. I'm just going to leave it like it is with what it's got, because there was absolutely nothing wrong on that bass. I would much rather have them big, huge tuning keys on there than have to start drilling holes in it. Hey guys, Future Casey here. Was editing this video and realized that I've got about an hour's worth of material, so you're going to run into some spots in the video that I've sped up for time's sake, other spots that I've taken out completely. Most of the spots that has been taken out are spots that I've got in previous videos. I have an explanation at the end. My apologies. Anyway, I hope you guys are having an excellent day. I'm glad you stopped by to check in on the old buddy Casey here at Obscene Studios. Okay, so let's get all of these out, and we'll put all of these in here, and we're going to clean this bad boy up. I'm going to polish the frets while I'm off it. I'm going to clean and do the fretboard. I'm going to keep the strings because the strings are relatively new that I have on this guitar. There's absolutely nothing wrong with them. I just was, as a matter of fact, earlier this morning, while waiting on these to show up in the mail, I was playing this guitar and thinking, do I need to change the strings? But I don't think that I do because the strings are in such good shape. So I'm going to cut here. I'm going to tape off the fretboard, and once we get that done, then we'll polish our frets, get her all cleaned up, and then we'll install these tuners. So hang out just for a minute. Okay, we are back. Got it taped off, as you can see. Finally got some of that pre-cut smaller width tape. I've got 2 or 3 different sizes. It makes this a whole lot easier. That way I don't have to get my little hobby knife out and cut off pieces of tape all the way down the board. That takes forever. So I'm going to break out the flitz polish, and I'm going to add some to the fretboard here. Thanks again to Brant. By the way, found out that he does use this kind. I thought that his was like a buffing compound instead of a white dry, but he says that this is the kind that he uses. All the same, Flitz brand is the bomb. I love it. In my opinion, I've used a lot of stuff to polish metals before. I guess Brasso has always been kind of my go-to in the past, but even Brasso you can't use on certain things, you know. So, but yeah, the first time I tried this, I fell in love with it. No Brant commented on that video, and I had seen Brant use it a few times, and I thought to myself, you know what, I need to look for a different product when it comes to polishing frets. And if it, I've seen some of his frets, I guess his frets were amazing. And that's when I decided, you know what, I think I'm going to go with the Flitz brand. And man, did it ever pay off. I was just amazed. Now these frets are somewhat shiny. They look okay to me, but I'm going to try it out anyway. Got the drill out. Do have a Dremel, just haven't never got around to going out there and getting it. That's insane. That is literally insane. I said these frets were shiny because they look shiny to me. But look at that. Look, right, starting right here, not polished. Here down is polished. And look at that. Let me turn it to the light so you can see it. That is insane. Does such a good job. I've never had a problem with these frets. I've never had to adjust any of them. They've always been good fret ends. Never had any high frets, anything like that. And I'm not even sure. I want to think that they're just a jumbo, maybe a medium jumbo. I'm not really sure on that. Sometime or other, I need to look up the specs on this guitar and find out what a difference. Get these shined up first, and then put a little bit of fretboard conditioner on here, because it has been a couple of months since I put strings on this guitar and I've conditioned it last. Gonna get that shined up too, and then of course we are going to clean the whole thing up. Okay, finish the rest of the frets. Look at that. Look at the shine. It's just awesome. That is just awesome. Makes the rest of the guitar look trashy, but I guess that's where we're going to clean that up at. So, yeah, that's just amazing. That looks so good. Okay, I'll be right back. We're going to get this tape off and start wiping down the guitar. Okay, we have got the fretboard conditioner on there, looking all shiny and new. Look at it. Well, I tell you what, you don't know how dirty a neck is and your frets and everything is on a guitar until you start getting into it, cleaning up on it a little bit and polishing. The body looks horrible now. That roller that I have has got a problem with dumping lint off of it everywhere. All right, now all we got to do is get our little screws together, get a little screwdriver, and then screw these into place. Well, here we are again, zooming right through the installation process of these locking tuners, and I have finally figured out the problem. I got a big mouth. I talk and talk and talk and take my time, and next thing I know, I got an hour-long video. It's like I talk to you guys more than I do people in the room right next to me. Anyway, I guess we'll just try and keep her under 30 minutes, hopefully. Okay, guys, got that shined up, got the guitar cleaned off. So for those of you out there that are beginners, I want to kind of explain why locking tuners are so great. Locking tuners eliminate a lot of stolen time when it comes to changing out strings. Now, I don't, when you reuse other strings, it's best just to clip off all that twisted stuff. Kind of come around a little bit around the first loop and just clip that off. And then you just straighten this out just a little bit. Normally I would put on new strings at this point, but these are still, they've got a lot of life left in them. I always say string cleaner and conditioner after every use is the way to go. So, but basically, you allow yourself just a little bit of slack. Now I've got all of these turned to where I can get right into them like this. And then you just loosen up your locking nut on the back, and these strings will slide right through just like that. And then you just turn that on the back until it is firm against the string, and you don't have to worry about wrapping it around the stupid peg so much. So that is the reason for locking tuners. If any of you beginners out there, now that is catered toward beginners, if any of you beginners out there ever wonder what the deal with locking tuners is, that's exactly the benefit right there. All you got to do is just put it through there just once, then make sure you've got, just a little bit of slack in it, enough for it to go about a half a turn around, something like that, and then lock it down. Then all you got to do is tighten it up. And what I always like to do is I always like putting just a little bit of graphite in the nut slots. Play a little bit on this thing. I know a lot of you just seen it before, but I just love playing this guitar. It's an awesome guitar. And there she is in all her glory. Well, Ritchie is fixed up, got the locking tuners installed. This guitar is definitely one of my faves. Right here is the tuners. And that's it, guys. We have replaced Ritchie's tuners with locking tuners. Doesn't really change the sound of the guitar any. I just couldn't help but to play it a little bit. Plus the fact that tomorrow the old head rush is going to be put into retirement and only brought out when something happens. Maybe somebody else comes over here to play or something. They can hook into this one or they can hook into the other one. But I've got a Head Rush Flex Prime coming. I know I told you that last video, and but it will be here tomorrow. I've been tracking it, and so I'm really, really looking forward to that. The next video will be the start of a series of the Head Rush Flex Prime. There's a ton of videos out there, but I am going to do a series on it because I'm going to be discovering for the first time, along with the guys out there that have not discovered it before. I really, really love this head rush. Always said that I wanted a head rush, and I ended up with one about a year ago. So I've had this one for a year and it has never failed me, not once. I can do and play any tone that I want with this head rush, but the new one has some extras, amp cloning, all that stuff. It's going to be awesome. I would love to mic this Carvin and amp clone that and send it. I just wonder how many people out there in the head rush community have Carvin X100Bs from 1983 that's been cloned and uploaded to the cloud for the rest of us to download and listen to. So I'm really looking forward to that. Looking forward to a lot of stuff that it has to offer and everything. But for now, this video was a straight up review. I'm just going to tell you, I like these. I love the feel of them. Even after I got them on and got them, was tightening the strings and tuning them, they're so smooth. Now, I am a Geiger fan. I like Geiger parts. I do. They do make good quality parts. I've used their bridges. I've used just different Geiger parts across the board. I do love their stuff. But budget minded, this was probably the best locking tuner I've ever used next to Geiger. Now I was not paid for this. Of course, y'all can look at my subscriber count. I'm not getting paid for anything. I'm doing this solely as a hobby at this point. Oh, by the way, like and subscribe. So yeah, Eddaray, you got it going on, man. All metal construction, really good feel to it, nice low profile pegs. It's just awesome. And I really love the low profile pegs because it gets the strings to sit into the nut slots a whole lot better. You don't have to worry about bending one too hard and it popping out of the nut slot. You get more of an angle down toward the tuning pegs where they're so low profile. And I like them. I really do. I just had to warm it up there. Know that you guys, for the most part, have always had me play a little demo of something or another. So I didn't want to let you down, even though my playing sucks. I really don't, you know, these days I don't have the speed that I used to have, but I have feel. I like feel. So that's all I got for you today. I'm sorry I sped up a lot through this video. There was some things that you guys have seen on this channel before that I sped through, that I skipped over, like taping the neck, putting on fretboard conditioner, things like that, that I just kind of sped through. And installing the tuners. The tuners are pretty much self-explanatory. All you got to do is put them through, make sure you put the screw in the back, and then you tighten your nuts and your washers down on front. I got videos on that too. But I wanted to bring you guys along because I've been wanting to do this to Ritchie for a while. Ritchie is, like I said, one of my faves. Out of all the guitars that I play in this room, I think Ritchie is the one that I gravitate towards the most. But that's all I've got, guys. I really appreciate you all coming in and hanging out with me for a little bit. I appreciate all of the comments and the likes and stuff like that. And just remember, as always, I hope you and yours have the best day ever. And I pray that God be with you all. Later.